This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
Google has another AI tool. This one's called Learnabout. So what's Google's AI strategy here? Is Learnabout helpful? For sure. Is its rollout and use case a little confusing? Absolutely. So we're going to be talking about Google's newest AI tool and looking at all their different AI tools all in one episode so you can know, is this worth checking out? If you need to learn about something, should you be using Google's Learnabout tool or something else? All right, I'm excited for today's episode. I hope you are too. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the host of Everyday AI, and this thing is for you. It is your daily live stream, podcast, and free daily newsletter helping everyday people learn and leverage generative AI to grow your company and your career. Is that you? Are you trying to grow your company and grow your career but can't keep up with generative AI? Well, you are in the right place. If you haven't already, make sure to go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for our free daily newsletter where we will be recapping today's episode and keeping you up to date with everything else that you need to know. So it is your one-stop shop to keep up and get ahead with everything related to AI. And then while you're on our website, you can go click the little episodes button and listen to more than 400 episodes, sortable by category. So whatever you need to know, we've probably had a world's leading expert come on the show and share about it. So if you're joining us on the podcast, thank you. Make sure to check out your show notes for all that information. If you're joining us live, my gosh, shout out to the live stream audience. Today, y'all showed up even before me. So thank you. Big Bogey Face, Harvey, Dr. Harvey Castro, Michael, Brian, Jackie, Tara, everyone else. Thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to get into the new Google Learnabout tool, which I think is actually really good, but it's really confusing. We're going to get into it after we go over the AI news. And to our live stream audience, if you haven't seen, I got a little live stream help that I need from you. Name a topic you're trying to learn about. All right, let's jump into first the AI news. So ChatGPT has rolled out some pretty big updates to its desktop app on Windows and PC. So OpenAI has introduced a new feature for the ChatGPT desktop app on Mac OS, allowing it to access the contents of certain apps to provide more seamless assistance. So the feature is currently in early beta, and it's designed to help developers by integrating with apps such as Xcode, Max Terminal, TextEdit, and Visual Studio Code. So OpenAI has made also the ChatGPT for app on Windows available to all users, including those without a subscription, expanding access beyond the previous limitation to premium users to now free users as well. So Windows users, if you want, even if you have a free plan, you can go download the app from the Microsoft Store with compatibility for Windows 10 versions and higher. I did try out the new desktop feature for Mac. Pretty useful. Essentially, it allows it to, without having to click around a lot, it allows it to read information from your files. Can't write to them just yet, but that could be coming. All right. Our next piece of AI news, speaking of Google, right? Topic of today's conversation. Google's Gemini has taken over the top spot in the AI chatbot leaderboard. So Google has unveiled the Gemini experimental 11.14 model on its AI studio for developers, marking its announcement date of November 14th. So it took first place on the Chatbot Arena LLM leaderboard, a blind test leaderboard voted on by millions of users. So Gemini's new 11.14 has an ELO score of 1344, while as longtime champ ChatGPT 4o has a score of 1340. So just barely eked it out past GPT 4o. Claude Sonnet 3.5 new is in a distant 8th place, in case you're wondering, with a 1283 score. score. So this new model from Google is accessible in the preview section via the model selector inside of Google's AI Studio, and it features a 32K, so a 32,000 context token window, which is smaller compared to other Gemini models. So that one's interesting, much smaller context window, but maybe this is a strategy for Google to have the top model compared to its other versions of Gemini that have between a 1 million and 2 million context window. So unlike its competitors, the Gemini experimental 1114 lacks search grounding capabilities, so not good, which might impact its performance in certain tasks. So despite these limitations, the model has excelled in reasoning tasks, although it takes longer to process problems. So again, if you go to the new, Gemini on the front end as a front end user on the chatbot, you're not going to find the model there. You're still running an older model. All right, our last piece of AI news for the day, Elon Musk's lawsuit against OpenAI now includes Microsoft alleging an AI monopoly. So Elon Musk has amended his original lawsuit against OpenAI, adding Microsoft as a defendant. So the lawsuit accuses Microsoft and OpenAI of being a de facto merger and engaging in anti-competitive practices, claiming they control nearly 70% of the generative AI market. So Musk alleges that OpenAI is attempting to, quote unquote, starve competitors out of AI talent by offering employees lavish compensation, with some reportedly earning up to $800,000. I don't know, guys. Sometimes I feel weird even reporting on this news because we did a whole episode on this when the lawsuit first came out. I don't think it's a real lawsuit, but now you got to pay attention to it since Elon Musk has a role in government. So that might change things. The suit also names Reid Hoffman, a Microsoft board member, former OpenAI board member, and co-founder of LinkedIn as a defendant. So Elon Musk kind of just throwing lawsuits at more and more people. And it also includes Musk's startup, obviously xAI, as a plaintiff. So this legal action marks the latest escalation in the rivalry between Musk, who was a co-founder of OpenAI, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, with Musk previously accusing OpenAI of abandoning its nonprofit mission. So the lawsuit references a Financial Times report that OpenAI has requested investors not to fund competitors, raising questions about fair competition in the AI market. Again, I don't think this lawsuit has much to it, but I'm not a lawyer. So if you want to know more about it, make sure to go read our newsletter today. All right. And also, hey, anyone else out there, let me know if you're going to Microsoft Ignite next week in Chicago. I think the early launch day is Monday, but the keynote and everything actually kicks off on my birthday, November 19th. So if you're going to be there, let me know. Would love to meet up. All right, so let's get straight into it. What is Learnabout from Google, and what the heck is it even about, right? So this is a brand new learning tool powered by AI released from Google. So let's go over some bullet points, y'all, and then at the very end, we're going to do a little live look and a live walkthrough of all of Google's new AI tools. So they have two very new ones, one kind of new one, and then Gemini. And we're going to take a look at all of them. So like I said, live stream audience, I'm going to be looking for examples of something you're trying to learn about. So if you didn't already get them in the comments, I'll ask for them again. So we're going to go through this one kind of quickly today, y'all. This isn't going to be one of those 45-minute podcasts. So what is Learnabout actually about? Well, it is an AI-powered tutor that uses the LearnLM model. So this is a Gemini-based fine-tuned model. So it is of all the different AI, the four different AI kind of products that we're going to be talking about today from Google are Learnabout, Illuminate, NotebookLM, and then it's Gemini chatbot. So of all of those four, Learnabout is the only one that uses the LearnLM model from Google. So the LearnLM model from Google is a fine-tuned Gemini model. So it is based on Gemini. And then, smart researchers, probably either at Google or Google DeepMind, fine-tuned this model to work specifically for learning and for educational purposes. So it technically uses a different model than all of Google's other products. So it uses the LearnLM model. It delivers in-depth educational answers, and we're going to see that in action. It is much more multimedia focused, I think much more interactive and less kind of chatbot-esque than some of the other products. It also includes visual aids like images, diagrams, and text boxes, and it allows adjustable complexity levels. Right now, though, it is limited to users in the US. You do have to sign up for a wait list, but it is free right now. It is purpose-built for learning. So Learnabout is Google's, like I said, only AI tool designed specifically as an educational aid, even though I don't think it's the best tool to learn about something. That's weird. I'll explain what I mean. So right now, it's functioning as both an AI tutor that guides users through deeper learning process beyond a simple Q&A. Like we talked about, it uses the unique LearnLM model. So it's the only Google product that uses the LearnLM model. It's trained specifically on educational and research data. So again, based off the Gemini model, but it is a fine-tuned model. So this makes it better suited to provide in-depth explanations and foster understanding compared to the more general purpose Gemini model used elsewhere, and then Illuminate and NotebookLM. And we'll be going over the kind of pros and cons of all of those. All right. There is an emphasis on visual learning. So again, we're kind of talking here about what makes this new experimental AI product called Learnabout from Google a little different. It's a huge emphasis on visual learning, which I kind of like, right? So beyond text responses, Learnabout incorporates visual aids like images, diagrams, annotated text, and textbook-style boxes for added context and vocabulary definitions, enhancing the learning experience. And also, there is a focus on conceptual understanding. So unlike tools that prioritize quick answers, Learnabout encourages critical thinking and deeper understanding by explaining the why, addressing misconceptions, and promoting exploration. All right, so I just told you all about Learnabout. Now we have to learn about Google's other AI tools so we can try to better understand why the heck are there so many different AI tools out there from Google that all kind of do similar things, but all do different things. And they're all very similar, yet they're all very different. Okay, I'm not sure, but let's find out. Let's talk Gemini. All right. So Gemini is multimodal AI chatbot. It is also the name of its models, which is a little confusing. So, as an example, ChatGPT has models such as GPT-4o and O1 preview. So Google Gemini has models called Gemini, but that's okay. Yeah, and hey, sorry, live stream audience. I know that there's a little problem here on streaming on LinkedIn. If it ever is not working on LinkedIn, you can always join on YouTube. So Gemini is multimodal AI. It processes text, images, and audio. It's available in both a free version and a Gemini advanced paid version. You do need a Google account to access either. It's integrated with Google Apps, Google's products, and Pixel phones. So as an example, Google just released its Gemini Live, which is essentially its version of advanced voice mode for a new Gemini app that it just released yesterday for iPhone. So you can access Google's Gemini model anywhere. And like we talked about at the beginning of the show in the news section, technically it is the Gemini has the most powerful model in the world right now. But you're not going to be using it in all of these other products. Unfortunately, sometimes Google is a little coy or not super forthright about what model is powering what. Specifically, it's Gemini Chat, because I think so much attention is paid inside of Google's kind of AI sandbox. And it's a great developer tool. It's fantastic. It's probably as good or better than OpenAI's developer tool. But Google's front-end Gemini product does not get a lot of love or attention, which makes no sense, Google, because when you talk about Gemini, right, aside from developers, your IT people, software engineers, everyone just goes to like gemini.google.com, right? And they're using the front-end chat. Usually that is running a Gemini model that is 3 to 6 months old. So a lot of these models get updated pretty frequently. I would say on average about every 1 to 2 months. right? But you don't always hear about it. So as an example, GPT 4.0 has actually been updated and, now it's technically called GPT 4.0 latest. However, on Gemini, for whatever reason, maybe it's for cost, maybe it's for safety, I don't know, but Google is usually running a very old and outdated version of Gemini on its chatbot app. All right, so keep that in mind. And also, Gemini may occasionally provide unreliable or incorrect answers. Yeah, it's caused some headlines this week for some bad kind of advice that it gave a user. Kind of said, please die. Not good. All right. So that's Gemini. Gemini is essentially many things. It is both the name of models. It's available, as edge models for on device. It's available for developers on the backend studio, and it's also the name of its front end chatbot. All right, let's talk about NotebookLM. Woo! Hey, Brian says up to 5 LinkedIn phrases and counting. All right, cool. We're making records today, y'all. NotebookLM. If you haven't used NotebookLM, I've done probably, I think, 2 dedicated episodes on it here on this show. It is one of the best AI products I've ever used. I don't understand. Google Gemini's front-end chatbot is probably the worst AI tool, or one of the worst AI tools, at least from a major company that I've ever used. Yet NotebookLM is one of the best. NotebookLM is friggin' amazing. It is what the AI world needs. It is extremely powerful. It is a grounded, state-of-the-art model that has built-in retrieval augmented generation. It is free, and they're coming out with a version for businesses. It is mind-bogglingly good, and I can't believe it exists. But I can't believe the disparity between how good NotebookLM is, how useful it is, and how bad Gemini can be on the front end as a chatbot. Anyways, NotebookLM, if you don't know, you can upload your documents, notebooks, links, YouTube, MP3s. You can upload just about anything. And NotebookLM gobbles it all up so quickly, and it gives you essentially your own database to work with. So it answers questions based on your materials. It creates summaries, guides, and timelines from your sources, and it generates audio discussions based on your materials. Right now, it is free to use. They are rolling out a business version, so it will probably become a paid tool at some point, when you can share notebooks with those on your team. It is an amazing tool. Then let's talk about Illuminate. So Google just rolled out this new Illuminate tool after Google Notebook LM, but before Learnabout. So kind of the order of these, right? So Google Gemini and its AI chatbot is obviously the original. That's the OG. Then there was Notebook LM. Then there was Illuminate. And now there is Learnabout. So Google Illuminate, it's kind of like, it's weird. It's kind of a cross between NotebookLM, Gemini, and Learnabout. So it's a little different, but this is more focused for scientific or educational purposes. So the big thing right now is you can access scientific papers from arxiv.org, which is arxiv.org is essentially a website that is all the open access archives for nearly 2.5 million scholarly articles. All right, so it is associated with Cornell University, and it is the leading resource essentially for research papers, right? So I read a lot of AI studies on arxiv, very great resource, but right now that's really the only thing that you can tap into, right? So yeah, there's 2.4 million scholarly articles, but Illuminate really just works with that and nothing else. It also, though, provides audio discussions in a podcast-like format, similar to NotebookLM. I think it has a little bit more of a visual interface, kind of like Learnabout, and it's early access, available right now for free. May still have a wait list. You have to check that out. I got in on the wait list on all my Google accounts, so I don't know if the wait list is still up. And like I said, it helps you in understanding more complex research papers. All right, so let's go ahead and learn a little bit for free here, y'all. So I need a suggestion from our audience. What is something that you are learning about? All right. Give me a topic, right? Something that you're actually trying to learn about, preferably something that people understand what it is, so we can all, and our podcast audience can all learn along. And I know we're having some freezing issues here on LinkedIn. So if you could give me a couple examples of something that you're trying to learn about, that would be great. So Michael is saying DaVinci Resolve video editing. All right. I like that one. Let's see. Let me just scroll through here and see if anyone else has suggested something. Christopher, thanks for this. Christopher says WGAC and how to make sites, newsletters, and other media accessible. Okay. I'm not even 100% sure what WGAC is, but I guess that's why we would learn about it. All right. Let's see if we have any other suggestions from the live stream audience here. Yeah. Going through the comments. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I know a lot of freezing issues today, so a lot of people are locked out. Sorry about that. Let's see. Brian says, the strengths and weaknesses of building a website in Squarespace versus WordPress. Okay. I like that one because I personally know about it, so I can probably talk a little bit better about it, but we could kind of teach everyone. Jackie just says how about AI? All right. Like that, Jackie. All right. Let's see if we have any more suggestions, and I'll choose one. ADA accessibility from Tara. Like that. Emma, thanks for your suggestion. Just says programming. Let's see. Big Bogey says embodying AI into humanoid biped robot. Okay. Emma says a new language. Jessica, how to prune a hydrangea tree. Love some of these, y'all. Self-publishing from Tara, AI. All right, let's see. All right, let's go ahead. All right. You guys gave me some good options here. I have to make a choice. Let me see. Let's go ahead and learn. What are we going to learn, y'all? We're going to do the WordPress versus Squarespace, because at least I think hopefully I should be able to talk a little intelligently, and I should be able to almost kind of fact check and understand how well these different tools are doing, at helping us learn between WordPress and Squarespace. All right. So podcast audience, thank you for your patience. So I'm going to go ahead now, and what I'm going to do is share my screen.
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
There we go. All right. Hey, live stream audience, let me know if you can see that. So this is Learnabout. So I'm going to go through all four of the tools, and we're going to hopefully learn about the difference between WordPress and Squarespace for website design. So I am now on the Learnabout website. I'm zooming in a little bit here, and you can see it's experimental. So it says, what would you like to learn today? The interface, love the interface. Of all the tools I talked about, I think Learnabout has one of the friendliest and best interfaces. So essentially, like Google, it has a spot where you can type, right? It's just a huge focus on this what would you like to learn about today? You can start typing. You can also upload images to learn from that. And then it gives some examples, right? So you can go through here, scroll, and you can actually click on these. So it says, tell me about the history of writing. Culture, what's the biggest wave ever surfed? So you can start clicking on these, and these are essentially pre-built learnabouts. All right. But let's just go straight into it. And I'm going to start typing in. I'm going to say WordPress versus Squarespace for web design and development. Okay. And then I'm going to click enter. I have to re-accept this because I'm doing it on my other accounts. All right. I knew this was going to happen. Love doing live things. All right. Give me a second here. Y'all, we got an error. So this is experimental. So let me go ahead and reshare another screen. Hey, this is where Tara usually says demo demons, right, Tara? All right, here we go. Let's do another. All right, so now I'm in my personal Gmail account. I knew this was going to happen, but that's okay. We're going to try the same thing here. See if it works. All right, here we go. So now let's zoom in. I did the same thing. I typed in WordPress versus Squarespace for web design and development. And you'll see right away, which I love, huge emphasis on visual learning. And I'm going to try to explain everything that's going on for my podcast audience. So when you start out, it does feel similar to kind of like a chatbot, right? You put your query in, and then it has this kind of familiar, like text message, like a DM on, social media, like an AI chatbot, right? Where you chat something and then you see something from, the smart AI on the other side. But this is where it gets completely different. And I'd like to describe, I like describing Learnabout as almost a combination between Google's AI overview search and a traditional chatbot interface. So the interface is actually super clean. I love it. So here's what we have. So it says, choosing between WordPress and Squarespace largely depends on your needs and technical comfort level. Let's look at each platform's strengths. So right away, I can already tell one thing that it does very well is it breaks it down for beginners, right? So if you're an expert, I would consider myself probably an expert in this. I've been using WordPress for almost 20 years. I've used Squarespace plenty of times, usually when getting old clients off of Squarespace and onto WordPress. But it's a very clean interface. So it created a little box, right? So a little box that kind of has a pro and con comparing WordPress and Squarespace. So it says ease of use, flexible customization, cost and maintenance. And then it gives me kind of the pros and the cons between WordPress and Squarespace. So as an example for ease of use, it says WordPress has a steeper learning curve and requires technical knowledge. And then it says Squarespace is beginner-friendly drag and drop interface. So pretty good right here. So I can keep scrolling, and then it kind of says WordPress. It kind of has a summary of all of this. And I highlighted something here because highlighting is actually a big part of Learnabout. So as an example, it says WordPress offers ultimate flexibility, but demands more technical knowledge. Squarespace is simpler, but may restrict your creative freedom. Consider your priorities. So let's just say, as an example, I want to learn more about some of these things. I can highlight it. So right now I'm highlighting in this chart maintenance, and it says WordPress requires manual updates and security management. And then it says Squarespace, automatic updates and built-in security. Okay. So obviously when I try to highlight something, okay, so I guess I didn't know this. When you highlight something in a chart, you don't get this, the more options. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight something. Okay, so it's a little finicky there. So I also have a Chrome extension here that I'm going to try to disable because it was getting in the way. Let's see if we got rid of it. Kind of. Okay, so now I highlighted something and I get more options. So these are built-in Learnabout options. Hopefully, live stream audience, you can see this. I know sometimes certain interfaces when I'm sharing my screen, you can't see. But I can click, what is this? See a picture, search the web. So I highlighted this text that said, WordPress offers ultimate flexibility, but demands more technical knowledge. Squarespace is simpler, but may restrict your creative freedom. Consider your priorities. So I'm going to click, what is this? Okay. And then you'll see it's essentially a way to continue having conversation, keeping the context in mind, but not having to retype something out. So now it says, you're right. That's a key takeaway. Let's dive deeper into WordPress, the platform known for its flexibility. So now it's giving me even more information, very visual, by the way, and I'm going to explain this a little bit on that specific thing that I highlighted. Okay, so let's go back up to the top. So again, it started by giving me this nice little kind of chart. Then it says why it matters. And so something I love about Learnabout is it is a pleasure to work with, right? One thing that Google does not lack in is UI UX. I think Google has the best UI UX of any platform out there. I don't necessarily think it's close. Too bad its front end Gemini chatbot stinks. Sorry, I said it. It's not good. But what I love here is it has these well-designed, very intuitive text boxes, right? So it looks like someone literally built you a interactive web page on a specific topic that you're trying to learn about. And for people who are visual learners, like myself, this really helps. So it has these nice color-coded box that says why it matters, right? So now it's talking about why it matters on choosing the right platform. Now, I love this. It says, stop and think. It says, imagine you're opening a bakery. You need a website for online orders and showcasing your treats. Would WordPress or Squarespace be better suited for this scenario and why? And then it says, tap to reveal. So this is kind of cool. So I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say when I click tap to reveal. It's going to say, you should use Squarespace because it's easier for beginners and there's a less technical learning curve. So I'm going to click tap to reveal. And then it says Squarespace might be better as it offers e-commerce tools and ease of use, letting you focus on baking rather than a technical website management. So pretty cool there. Also, I don't know if this is biased or not, but I think Google does have technically a partnership with Squarespace because Squarespace bought like Google domains. So, but that's technically true. So, I'm nitpicking here. All right. So then I can go down and it says explore related content. Okay. So now it's giving me, presumably this is the information. These websites are the information on where it pulled or the sources of where it pulled this information from. So I can go through and scroll on these with my mouse, go left to right here and look and read these articles if I want to, but I get headlines and I get quick summaries. Probably these are meta descriptions from these websites. Now I can go click simplify, go deeper, or get images. So again, I love that you can interact and learn about a topic without even having to type a lot. And then it also, in true Google fashion, gives you suggested questions that you can dive in even more. So again, you don't have to sit around and type, which I personally love. I think this is going to be big for mobile. I personally love learning on my phone. I hate typing on my phone. I have the world's fattest thumbs and the world's slowest typing ability on my iPhone. So I think this is great. So let's just do, as an example, I can click this go deeper button and then it puts everything down there at the bottom. And for go deeper, or for any of these one-click prompts, essentially all it does is it writes a prompt for you. So when I click go deeper, it says, can you explain the WordPress ecosystem in more detail, focusing on the different types of themes and plugins available and their impact on website functionality? Then Learnabout responds and it says, you're ready to explore the engine room of WordPress. Let's break down the WordPress ecosystem. All right. Unfortunately, we got an error on that one. So again, this is experimental. There are some bugs. So I'm going to go ahead and click another. Actually, I'm not going to keep going in. So I'm going to now talk about the left side of the platform. Okay. So everything that I was just talking about is in the main window in the middle. So on the left side of the platform, you can essentially, there's related kind of questions, right? So it says understanding the key differences between WordPress and Squarespace. Then it says describe the advantages of each advantages and disadvantages of each platform. Explain which platform is best suited. So again, Google has all of this all of this data, right? So when you normally search something on Google, you get people also ask. Sometimes you get little knowledge graph cards, you get related searches, all of these things, right? So essentially, this is a much more visual and intuitive way that Google is kind of just redisplaying its search engine. So it's using Google Gemini, it's using elements of its traditional Google search, AI overviews, as well as this fine-tuned LearnLM model. So as an example, I can click WordPress advantages. And then it just says, what are the benefits of choosing WordPress for my website? So all of these little toggles that you can click, whether it's in the main center panel or the left sidebar, all it does is it, kind of reprompts learn about, and then you can go down and read. So here's what I love. Now it created an interactive list. All right. So again, very, very easy on the eyes, very easy to navigate, great to click around. So now it says, I have this thing that says flexibility, customization, open source and free. So this is almost like I'm using an LMS on the fly. It's being generated for me, right? Nice hover effects. And then there's images on each of these. So this, again, literally looks like it's building a beautiful website on the fly based on how you're learning. And it's adapting to you what you need to know more about. So as an example, it says benefits of WordPress. I can click on this customization. And now it also changed the left-hand side as well. So now I can scroll down. Oh, it actually, okay, interesting. I thought it was going to go ahead and click, bring out more things. But actually in this interactive list, all it really does, okay, interesting. All it really does is allow you to click around. All right. So I hope this is helpful, but now what I want to do, and I have to, give me a second here. I have to reshare my screen. I want to do that same kind of learning experiment on the other platforms very quickly, just so you can kind of see some of the pros and the cons. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's share my window and go back to here. All right, here we go. So now I'm going to go in Gemini Advanced. All right, so the front end chatbot. All I'm going to do the same thing is I'm typing WordPress versus Squarespace for web design and development. All right, and you'll see Google Gemini just gives me text, right? There's nothing interactive. I can't click around. I can't really, okay, I say there's nothing interactive. It did build this simple table, which is nice. That I can export to Google Sheets, which is great. But for the most part, Google Gemini gave me a text-based answer, not a lot of interactivity, and it doesn't really scale according to my learning needs, which is okay, not really what it's meant to do. All right, so now I'm going into Google Illuminate, which is also an experimental tool. So with this one, the interface is a little busy, right? But that's not what we're here to judge. All right, so this looks more, how would I best describe Google Illuminate? When it came out, I was confused, number one. It essentially, I think, is a slightly more visual version of NotebookLM. It helps you create podcasts based on research papers. So it's a niche use case. So I don't even know if we're going to be able to, as an example, use this for this instance, because I don't know how many research papers there's going to be on WordPress and Squarespace, but let's find out. So all you can do is search for a topic or paste a PDF URL. So I'm going to just go ahead and search the same thing that we've been doing for all of them, WordPress for Squarespace for web design and development. I'm going to click search. It says no results found. Okay, so now I'm just going to go WordPress, Squarespace. Again, this one's going to be hard because it's really only going to allow me to generate a conversation based on anything from arxiv.org. So I'm just going to try WordPress. Let's see if we get anything there. All right, so we at least have something for WordPress. So now it has all these different research papers that at least mention WordPress. So I'm going to click on just one. All right. So WordPress on AWS, I'm going to click add, and let's see if I can add one for Squarespace. I'm guessing there's not going to be any, but I could be wrong. All right, there are some. Cool. So I'm not sure what this one is. It doesn't even look like Squarespace. Yeah, it's not. So nothing in here is dedicated to Squarespace. That's okay. We found one. Let's just do one for web design. So I'll still say web design and development. See if we get anything there. There we go. All right. A systematic approach to web application development. Cool. Add. So now you'll see in Google Illuminate and for a podcast audience, super simple. So all this ultimately does is it creates a podcast for you. The voices are different than NotebookLM, but it's the same. It's the same kind of concept, but only for research papers. And then it gives you, like a lot of Google's experimental tools, it gives you some options. So by default, there's 4 different things that you can change to steer this podcast conversation, this AI-generated podcast conversation to help you learn things. So it says, create a conversation tailored for a blank audience with a blank duration. The tone should be blank, right? So I can click these. I can click general. Let's see, general audience. Let's see what I can change. I'm going to say a technical audience, right? A technical audience with a very short duration. The tone should be casual, right? Then I can click generate. All right. I'm not going to wait around. I might come back to the end after I do this in NotebookLM. But essentially now all it does is it generates a podcast for me based on those 2 research papers that I added, and it gave me a little bit of flexibility in terms of how I wanted the podcast to appear. All right, last but not least, one of my favorite AI tools ever. If you haven't used NotebookLM, start using it. Y'all, I literally use NotebookLM as an example to help me plan my podcasts. Yes, that is right. It is an amazing tool. All right, so NotebookLM is a grounded model. So I'm in there right now. I'm clicking add new. You can't use it. You literally cannot use it until you give it information. And then it is only going to use that information that I give it. So what I'm doing right now is I need to give it information for it to actually work. All right, so I'm going to copy this link to a couple of these articles that come up when I Google WordPress versus Squarespace for web design and web development. So now I'm going to go back in. Some of these might be blocked. So I'm going to click website. I'm going to paste this in. All right, that one's blocked. Fantastic. I know Forbes will probably be blocked. I'm going to copy this one, copy link to highlights. Sorry, y'all. Love doing these things live. All right, let's go to website. See if I can get one of these to work. Fantastic. So many of these are blocked. Elegant themes. Cool. Used to use elegant themes like 10 years ago. All right, let's try one more here. Let's see if we can get a website to work. Cool, we can. All right, so all of these are unfortunately blocked. So I'm going to have to copy and paste. I can also find, you can also upload in NotebookLM. You can also upload PDFs, YouTube videos that have captions. You can copy and paste content. If you have something in your Google Drive, you can add that in there. So now all I'm, you know what I'm actually going to do, y'all? I'm going to quickly copy and paste all of the text from the Learnabout. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Sorry, y'all. A lot of clicking around here. Getting lost. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go to copy text, and I just pasted all the text from the Learnabout. All right. So we just have it as an example. So what NotebookLM does so well, number one, 25 million words. You can have 25 million words. And when you upload MP3s, when you upload YouTube videos, it crunches those almost immediately. It is super impressive. All right. So now I can chat with this information, and I can just do something simple. Say, explain the, I'm just going to do, explain why I would choose WordPress over Squarespace. Okay. So now when I use NotebookLM, the great thing is it is grounded. So it is only going to use that information that I put in. So now it goes through and it gives me, it says, here are some reasons why you might choose WordPress over Squarespace based on the sources you provided. See, based on the sources you provide. And then I can click, each of these citations. So It doesn't just make things up, right? It literally, if you don't give it any information, you cannot use it. And it's only if I ask it, why is Pluto no longer a planet, right? I'm going to click that. I'm going to ask that, and it says the sources provide focus on comparing and contrasting differences, right? It essentially doesn't answer. So it says, therefore, the sources cannot answer why Pluto is no longer considered a planet, right? So I can click on all these different citations, and it's going to take me to that exact spot of the information that I uploaded. All right. So that is a very, very quick overview, y'all, of the differences between Google's Learnabout, Google Gemini, Google Illuminate, and Google NotebookLM. Oh man, I said this isn't going to be a 45-minute podcast. And look, it turned into a 45-minute podcast. So Marie asking Jordan, can Learnabout work on your voice commands rather than typing? That is a great question. So by default, there's no option within Learnabout, Marie. However, if you just have a keyboard shortcut, you can do it that way. Whereas, Gemini, as an example, has a dedicated use microphone button, but Google Learnabout does not. But again, as an example, the shortcut key that I have set, I click Option twice and I can talk into any text box. So it doesn't have that by default. Yeah, Michael's saying, why does this seem so cool and so complicated at the same time? Hey, if I'm being honest, Learnabout is extremely easy to use. I love it. I think it is a great tool from Google, but you just have to look at the bigger picture. What is their strategy here? What is Google's strategy? Number one. Number two, why do they give the front end of Google Gemini chatbot so little love? I don't know, right? There's so many great features of NotebookLM. Illuminate, not really for me, right? I think Illuminate is really just for researchers. And NotebookLM is an amazing tool, but I do like Learnabout. Learnabout is great. It's intuitive. I think I'm probably going to start using Learnabout almost maybe as much as something like Perplexity. So I actually think that's a little bit more what it's positioned to be. It is positioned to be a new version of Google search, right? We'll see. It does are they actually going to continue to use it? We might see something like Learnabout appear by default in Google search if you are searching for a learning query. So who knows what Google's actual plan here is with this new Learnabout tool, but I do know it's extremely useful. It is free. And it is a pleasure to use, unlike some other Google products, front-end Gemini. All right. I hope this was helpful, y'all. If so, please let me know and please share this with someone. It takes us hours every single day to bring you free, up-to-date AI content so you can be the smartest person in AI at your company. It only takes you a few seconds to click that repost button if you're listening on social media to share this with your friends, or it takes you a second to go ahead and click subscribe or follow on the podcast platform of your choice. So please do follow us there. Leave us a rating. I'd appreciate that. And I'd appreciate it if you join us back next week and every day for more everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.